I have 5:15.
I do too.
Okay. Let's get started. I do see we have a quorum. So I declare that we have a quorum present. Is there any members or guests? I think we all know each other. Under citizens to be heard, Monica would like to give us some information.
She's muted.
Did she mute herself?
Yeah, I mute myself all the time.
There you go.
There. I'm not sure if you all were keeping up or even aware of a certain thing that was going on. It has been going on in San Antonio. And there's this group, it's a kind of a combined group who have what they call a Alamo master plan. And they're talking about tremendous changes for Alamo Plaza. Mainly, they want to close it off and make it more into a more respectful place, for one thing, because where people are walking, that's where the battle actually took place that, provided our freedom and so forth here in Texas. But we had a very important thing come up before us at Texas Historical Commission on September 22nd. And that was that group had to apply to Texas Historical Commission for a permit to move the cenotaph. And bottom line, I'll just make it brief, we voted against moving it. There were parties on either side that were very passionate about whether to move it or not move it. But basically the people of Texas, in my opinion, I voted against moving it. And the people of Texas that I read thousands of emails and letters from people over like a 6-month period prior to our vote. And it was overwhelming that the people of Texas did not want it to move. So it's not moving. And you may hear that, well, too bad it turned into a political football. It wasn't a political football. I voted because that's what the people who wrote letters to me and the other commissioners said. So I just wanted you all to know that the cenotaph is safe for now.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank
Can
you.
I say something? Monica,
Yes.
as a member of the DAR, I thank you very much because we were very against it.
Well, pretty much a lot of people were against it.
DRT. Sorry, DRT.
Yes. And yeah, it was, it got our meeting was a virtual meeting. We started at 9 in the morning and we didn't finish until 5 till 7 in the evening, and we didn't take a break for lunch. So it was really, there were a lot of feelings on both sides, but yeah, I did what I thought was right.
Well, we appreciate you being there and supporting it. Thank you very much for that. Okay, under number 4, or 5, I should say, discuss, approve, or disapprove the minutes of the regular quarterly meeting on September 5th, 2020. We sent those out. Colin sent them to you. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Move for approval.
I need a second.
I'll second Brian.
Brian seconds. Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Discuss, approve, disapprove the treasurer's report. Is Linda on?
I do not see her.
Okay. The treasurer's report, as I have it, if I can see, it's a little dark in here. The balance of our $10,000 that we have left in the bank as far as the audit department at the Commissioner's Court is $2,783.85.
And we did get the tax refund for the scanner. I have not coded it in yet because it won't go in until probably December when I get that actual credit card statement, because it was on my purchase card. But we did get the refund in.
Okay, great. Thank you. And that was $990 total for the scanner?
Yes.
Okay. I just need a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
So moved.
Is that Pat?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, Pat, we all have to say who we are with Zoom.
Sorry.
Tough for the secretary. Second,
Janet seconds.
Janet seconds. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, treasurer's report's approved. Presentation of the new slate of officers for 2021. Janet's on.
Well, I have really been working on this and we had everybody set up, but we were missing one thing, but now Colin says he's signed out. So what we had down, Betty had agreed that she could serve again as chair, and Colin was going to be the secretary, but he can't, so we need a secretary.
It's vice chair. Colin was going to be.
I mean,
vice
vice
chair.
chair. Yeah, vice chair. Roberta Shear has graciously agreed to be secretary, but we need a treasurer and we need somebody to step up and be treasurer and vice chair.
Mike, vice chair is not a big time thing. Would you consider staying on with that?
Yeah, I can do that. And you know, from our other committee, what I've got going on, I've
I
got a lot of
do. I do.
iron
But
on fire right now. Finally getting some steel in the air, and
I don't plan on croaking anytime soon. So
well, if you do, I'm just gonna run out of town.
Don't do that, Mike.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
okay, this is just a slate. I would make a recommendation that we keep Linda on as treasurer. She can still serve unless someone else would like to step up and do that. But it's not just Betty Stiles talking, it's the rest of the group.
Pat, that sounds good to me.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. So we have our slate. Janet, thank you so much. I know you worked hard on this and I appreciate it. So we will have our December meeting, and I think it's going to be December 9th. And then we can vote. And at that time, if we want to put anybody from the floor up, that can be done. So I just need approval for the slate so far.
We had a motion and a second already or was that just to keep Linda?
Yeah, that was just to keep Linda. So
Okay.
we just need to approve the slate. Actually, I don't guess we have to. The nomination.
Yeah, it's just a
committee-
presentation.
It's just a presentation. Sorry. Okay. All right. So that'll be done next month. Okay. Under executive committee, the Copano Bay Fishing Pier, as you probably have noticed, is just about gone. They are moving right along. I've been in touch with Richard Prince from Russell Marine, who is doing their dismantling of the bridge. He's a very nice young man, very historically minded. He is going to give me a kind of a draft drawing of what he'd like to see us move to the History Center. I talked with him today, and he has a concept for like maybe a little mini pier to be presented over at the History Center. And so he's took some measurements, but I think that would be very, very appropriate to do. And he's willing to not only design it, but he's very willing to move it to the, so it wouldn't cost us anything to move that over to the History Center. So I hope if anybody has any ideas as to what might happen with some of the, most of the, they've got side railings and then he's got the pier, but there's not any real planking as far as because it was all covered with asphalt. So, but we could make a makeshift little mini pier, and we can wait until December. He's going to get us something, but they're a month ahead of schedule on the Copano Fishing Pier to have it demoed, and they are using the where Williams Brothers was off of 1781 to dismantle it, and they're mulching some of it, and some of the rock. Camp Aransas is going to be the beneficiary of that for breakwater out in the water. So they're very civic minded. And anyway, I just wanted to kind of give you an update on what's going on with that. And I'll have more information at next month's meeting.
Sounds very good, Betty.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, under preservation and public policy, Miss Pat, you're up.
Righty. As far as Klein's building, the Rockport Center for the Arts, I have to look at my notes, so I have to look down. Recently received permission. If you get the pilot, you probably saw that they had to get permission and an exemption to put the building on St. Mary's rather than facing Magnolia. And they finally got through that hurdle. And then there will be about a month of prep work for the foundation work, which has to be completed first to move the building. And there will be very large timbers that are put under the foundation, and they're hoping that everything goes really well. And I was talking with Monica, she might provide more information. I was planning to go by there today because they were going to start, but I did not make it.
I did.
And they are just working on getting those pillars underneath the building before they can start to move.
I can tell you, I was there this afternoon and watched them demolish the kitchen area that was not part of the historic. And I
Right.
got to see it from start to finish. And it's exciting project. It really is. And so I think they've done so many things right in preparation for this that I feel real good about it.
I didn't realize they were going to pick up the whole foundation.
Yeah, they're gonna have to brick, maybe. They're gonna have to brick the wall, the windows because of structure. To give it more strength.
Hmm.
But there's also some large timbers between the windows. They said that they may be able to brace and not have to brick. I talked to Ron Myers today, and so that's kind of what's going on with the Klein building. But anyway, I just wanted to add that, Pat, and I appreciate your input.
Monica, did you have anything to add? And you're muted.
No, Betty, I knew Betty had been there today and seen it all, so I knew she had a better, I was
Okay.
there 2 different times today, but they still hadn't started taking the kitchen off when I was there.
All right, I definitely want to go by tomorrow.
Yeah,
The
It's
second
exciting.
item about the awning on the Estelle stair, I've talked with Pam about that. She has been working with Bonnie Carlisle, who now owns that building, and trying to ease them through to get whatever approval she needs. And she believes that things are going smoothly, that they will approve putting an awning on there because she hasn't heard from Bonnie that there is any trouble. So that's where that stands. Okay, and then Betty, I think you said you would do the San Antonio and Aransas Pass train depot.
No, Jennifer Day is much more on top of that. I can tell you bits and pieces. I know that they have yet to close, and the owner is being a real, you know what, but anyway, it's still in the works and everything. Oh golly, what's the name of their group? The Cultural Arts District has taken over the project, and they will be receiving the grant money for the project. And they already are planning to do the repair work as soon as they close.
I saw Pam Stranahan just came online, but she just walked away. Oh, Pam, come back, come back. Did you have anything else to add about the train depot?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Betty was saying. So I don't know. I mean, yeah,
Well, she said it's still kind of piecemeal, working with the Cultural Arts District and with the person who is selling that building to the entity.
right. What I understand from John Strothman is that it's a federal grant. It's a federal block grant. And so it's taking a long time to process. And so, that hadn't happened yet. But when it does happen, then the county will have part of the property, and the Cultural Arts District will have a third of the property with the depot on it. Right.
Okay.
And it's far enough along that the Cultural Arts District is raising money for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Anything additional on Pat?
No, not about these.
Okay, great. Historical markers, I'm sorry, somebody's speaking up. Historical markers and endangered properties. Sandy, is she on?
She's muted.
No,
Or is-
Sandra Bridges is, but Sandy Garrison is who am I
I'm
talking?
here. I figured out the mute now.
Oh,
I
good.
have no idea if you can see me.
I don't know. I've got, anyway, we're good.
Okay, start my video came up in the middle. Let's see. Now can you see?
There you
me?
are.
I can see you.
We can see you.
Okay. Well, all right.
You did.
Sorry, but I kind of came in the middle of this when Pat started to speak because I cannot figure out when you all are starting your meeting.
5:15.
At 5:15. Okay. Well, I may be thinking of another organization where they told me one thing and then it was a 15-minute, 30-minute wait till everybody got there. So it's,
So it was on the agenda.
apologize.
At 5:15.
okay. Okay. Marker wise, I have studied and tried to figure out exactly what you want on the marker application process. I've emailed Bob Brinkman to get more specifics based on what I used to know about markers and what apparently there's something special going on here with Kleins, with the whole Kleins thing.
Yes, and that's probably going to be an application we'll start in the spring.
Okay, that was part of my question is I don't see how we can start an application when we're in the middle of all this. Doesn't it have to get somewhere and then we know who owns it and where it'll be located?
We
and-
know as soon as that building is raised, it becomes the property of Don Myers.
Okay,
The Center for the Arts owns it now, but the minute
but you
it is
mean
raised,
when it gets up on the beams or the
Yes.
moving beams, but
It
before
becomes-
it's put on the actual land? That's weird. See, that's my problem, but
well, it's
I'll
We
work
can
it out.
start a subject marker application before the building's there because it's not actually a landmark. So since it's
Yeah,
a subject
see it.
marker, we
I
can
don't
do
know how
it.
they- Excuse me, Colin. I don't see how they would allow it to be a recorded landmark.
It's not.
it's
It,
not.
it'd be a subject.
Okay, that's what I've been kind of thinking and working on,
okay.
Good.
working in that direction.
And there's another thought too, was that piece of property was at one time the fire department? Did I say that right?
No, I think you're
You're
right.
correct.
At some meeting that I attended, they were talking about that and somebody's even got some old pictures. So it's really, because I talked to Bob Brinkman myself and because, well, it's a long story, but anyway, yes, it is eligible to be nominated for a subject marker. And basically it will say what happened inside of that building, who, what different businesses occupied it and so forth. And the fact that that property used to have the old Rockport firehouse.
Right.
Oh, okay. So the firehouse could be part of the subject. Got it.
Well, it'd be two separate markers if I understand that. Is that not correct?
No, just one subject marker.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But we-
about the property and what in the building now sitting on it. So
I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, basically, but we could include the firehouse if we've got material on it
Okay.
as part of the subject.
Right.
Okay. All right. I understand. Thank you. Is there anything else, Sandy?
No, thank you.
Betty, the things that I wanted to comment on having to do with the markers,
Yes, ma'am.
they're not on the agenda, so I don't know if we want to record this as just part of,
No,
So-
underneath there says update. So
Okay.
You may go forward.
Well, there's a couple of things that I want to tell you about that's going on at Texas Historical Commission. One, that it probably doesn't affect Aransas County because I'm not sure of what all the different markers are about in Aransas County, but something that's been happening throughout the state and actually throughout the country is that right now with all of the social unrest we're having, anything that says the word Confederate on it, people want to just get rid of them. So we have actually had come before us at our last meeting, 2 different entities wanted markers removed from their property because they didn't think it fit what their idea of history should be.
Oh
And
my
so we actually denied letting them be moved. So just so you know, if we have any that say anything about a Confederate officer or a Confederate soldier or anything like that, that may come up before you. And I can just tell you that probably it would not be allowed to be removed. And then another thing I want to tell you all about, each year on the markers, they select kind of like topics that they would give extra points for because they're lacking those particular ones. Well, the ones for this coming time is women's history, education, architecture, and landscape architecture. But another thing that's going to probably come up the next time, I will tell you right now, and I think it's something that you all could be thinking about, is going to have to do with diversity. And we do have some we have some markers that honor Hispanic people in our community, but what made me really start thinking was our Vietnamese community, because we have a tremendous amount of influence from our Vietnamese community in Rockport. So we should probably try to be the leaders in that if we could. And, it's a little tough though, because the Vietnamese, they're not the same, they're more family oriented. They do things together as a group rather than an individual or a place, that this happened or whatever. So it would probably require some good thought, but I think that it's something worth looking into.
Well, we did the Visionaries in Preservation at Houdat's.
Mm-hmm.
Pam, the wording on that. Was there any talk about the Vietnamese at all?
I don't think so. I think it featured mainly the seafood industry, but we have to remember the Vietnamese came in here about 1975. So by 2025, they will have a 50-year determination. And that's kind of what markers, where markers start at 50 years. Yeah. But I think we'll actually probably in the next year or two, we'll have a really good exhibit on the Vietnamese community. So while we're putting that together, then, we'll have a lot of history. Mm-hmm. And it'll be a really good time to bring up a marker for the Vietnamese community in several locations, probably.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Yeah, Monica, that's really a good piece. Do you think the Klein's Cafe fits into the architectural history at all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It could only, you might mention something about the architecture, but the thing is that since it's being moved and it's not a recorded land marker, then no, it wouldn't have anything to do with that. I don't think. But you can ask, whoever's going to be talking to Bob Brinkman can ask him about that because it is unique.
Yeah.
And we don't have a lot of old things in Rockport, old buildings.
Well, it's a unique architecture.
And then the third thing I wanted to tell you all about is something that I've been working on with 3 other commissioners, and that is, in all likelihood, there's going to be a Texas Historical Commission history travel app created. And so a person will be able to have their phone, and right now we have a thing called Texas Time Travel, but it's kind of antiquated and it doesn't work very well. It's not a good piece at all, but that'll probably be done away with altogether. And then there are some private entities. There's one in particular that's very good, and it's only markers. And it's an app on your phone. And as you're driving, you say what's nearby me, and then a map pops up and so forth. Well, this travel app that we're talking about developing will have all of the markers on it, but it will also have all of the state historic sites like Fulton Mansion. There, I don't know if you all know, but when I first went on the commission, we only had 21 historic sites. Now we have 31. So we have increased our numbers. So, you know, things keep coming from Parks and Wildlife to us. And so those will all be in there. The historic courthouses, well, probably all the courthouses will be in there. Historical museums will be in there. Anything having to do with Texas history will be right in a person's hand. So that's probably, we're right now working on private funding for it. And if it works out, we'll probably have it sometime operable by sometime in the next year, in 2021.
Right.
So I just wanted to tell you all about that.
That sounds great. I can see myself using that.
I can see a lot of people using it. And what we're kind of targeting is families, because they're traveling and kids have their phones, and mom and dad have their phones, and everybody can participate in this. So it's really we would be reaching an age group, 2 age groups that we have not reached in the past in the history arena. Normally it's people, you know, 50, 60, 70 years old. Well, now we're talking about engaging the millennials and their children. So it has some great potential. We're very excited about it.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Moving on to finance and budget. Linda's not here, so I can kind of give you an update on our budget. We have, since we didn't do any markers this year, Sandy Garrison graciously said, hey, you know, go ahead and use our money. So we did do and have going on right now the monument for our sesquicentennial. And so that has been included in the budget. And also quite a few of the sesquicentennial expenses have been part of our $10,000 that we get every year from the commission, the commissioner's court. So I just wanted you to know that if we're right now, as of today, we have $624.82 left in our budget for the end of the year to use. And we did get approved by the auditor's office and the commissioner's court to have another $10,000 for our 2021 budget. Any questions on that?
Do you need a motion for anything, Betty, or we just hear it and we accept it?
It's really an update on each
Okay.
committee. I would, you know, unless you want to vote on it, you can, but. Okay, public relations and outreach, Mike.
Okay, on the marker guide, I did hear back from Mike Probst today. He'll have 10,000 copies on or before January 31st.
Great.
of 2021. So that, I think that is in time for the sesquicentennial too. So I know that we're looking at it from that committee as well. But you know, it's, you know, again, I'm just happy that he could get it done in this time, you know, when he's just really more than anything trying to save his business right now. So but yeah, he says he'll have it done by January 2021, January 31st.
We want to make sure he has cover of that to be the sesquicentennial.
He does.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
The logo.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's perfect.
Mike, how many copies did you say?
10,000.
10,000.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Betty,
Yes.
what we're proposing to do is have a premiere of the marker guide on January 30th, which is a Saturday. We'll have that at the History Center, and that'll be sort of the push for the sesquicentennial with the the beginning of the year 2021.
So do you think, Mike, you can give him that information?
Yeah, I can text him that. We talk all the time, so I'll text him that information tonight. Let him know that about the January 30th, and I don't think he'll have a problem with that. If nothing else, he'll be able to provide some artwork or something else for what's going to print. I don't know what day of the week the 31st is on. What did you say the
It's a
30th
Sunday.
is?
It's a Sunday.
So yeah, I imagine he'll have it done by the end of business on Friday, but at the very latest. But I'll confirm with him and let you know.
Thank you.
Betty,
Yes.
Monica again. I think it might be appropriate right at this section to also fill in everybody that Texas Historical Commission is also working on an online presence for merchandise. So right now, the only place we sell merchandise is at the historic sites, and not all of them have a gift shop. But we're working on a huge project that has to do with selling online. Eventually, what we're hoping to do is have still have merchandise in the stores, and the online store will have more of the upper end items in it.
Very good. Thank you. That's good to know. Under collections, with COVID, we really can't put two people in our closet. So, but I will say that we have Colin, you can chip in on this. We have the software, we have the computer, and we have a scanner and a barcode, which will be able to be much faster. And so as soon as we can work in close proximity, then we can certainly try to get started on collections. I've got several here at the house already that I need to add.
You can use that $630 to buy a couple of hazmat suits.
Yeah, right. I think Sesquicentennial is going to eat most of that $624. Okay. Sandy, anything updated on cemeteries? I know you've got a meeting coming up.
Hopefully we can get back into schedule with Lamar Cemetery in March. With the COVID, we put everything aside, as you can understand. And I had to kind of step away because it's kind of gotten crazy in the funeral industry. So right now, nothing at the moment.
All right, thank you, dear. Okay, Ms. Stranahan, you're up.
Okay, well, the Sesquicentennial committee has been meeting monthly, and just to try to flesh out what we're going to be doing. We will have our next meeting in January, and if anybody would like to be included in that meeting, let me know. It'll be a Zoom meeting, and we welcome anybody who wants to participate. We have about 25 people on the committee that are handling the different segments of this celebration. Again, we're going to start with that January 30th, and we're going to have the monument, which is a monument that will go at the courthouse when the courthouse is built. Okay, and so it's a monument that talks about the 150 years of Aransas County. And that, again, that monument will sit temporarily at the History Center, and then it will be moved to the county courthouse whenever that is built. So that'll be our kickoff point in 2021. And then what I'm hoping is that every entity that does something in 2021 will sort of give us a byline, include the logo for the Sesquicentennial, call whatever they're doing part of the Sesquicentennial celebration, so that we begin to embed this in people's minds that 2021 is the 150th anniversary for Aransas County. And then the featured programs will begin in June. Again, the committee came up with this time frame from June 12th to June 20th. So we'll have a lot of different activities going on during that time period in June. incorporating 2 weekends and the week between. By January, we'll have people committed and actually have a calendar out. At this point, people are still sort of mulling over exactly what they'll do, but we'll have that pretty well in place by January.
You want to talk about the website?
Yes, thank you. That was one note I had in front of me and I didn't even say it. The website, you need to write this down and go to it. www.aransascounty150.org. Okay, pretty easy. www.aransascounty150.org. So that introduces the whole sesquicentennial, and then we'll have all the different categories that you see on there. It's pretty well fleshed out. Of course, much of it will depend on the calendar as we put the calendar together, and that'll happen by January.
Thank you, Pam. Yes, and that it is a work in progress. As we progress, the website will grow and get more sophisticated. But right now, it would be nice for y'all to go up and look at it, and so you can familiarize yourself with it. Okay. Any old business needs to come before this group? Hearing none, we'll go on to new business. 2021 Real Places Conference, February 3rd through the 5th. And Monica, is that still a virtual conference?
Yes.
Okay. Pat Russo might know more about this because I got up on Tropical Texas Outings, Tropical Trails, and I couldn't find anything going on with them. Pat, you're big on the Tropical Trail thing. Do you have any input?
I do, Betty. And they've been doing virtual events since September, which are really very good. They're incorporating live action and then videos and moving around from the northern part of the region, which is Corpus Christi and this area, down into Harlingen and Port Isabel. And then they still hold them on the third Tuesday of every month. It runs from 10 to 11. Nancy Davini had planned to retire as their executive director, but I guess with COVID and everything else, she can't do much in retirement. So she's decided to stay on, which I'm very happy about. And so she's still the executive director. I will tell you, we just had the one for November yesterday, and it included a King Ranch nature tour, like the photography tours, and then a really terrific biography of Laredo activist Leonor Villegas de Mignon, who founded an international relief foundation, La Cruz Blanca. And that was very fascinating. And then they did a behind the scenes tour of the archives at the Museum of South Texas History, which is in Edinburgh. And then they did a book review on shrimp tails, which featured Port Isabel and Brownsville. And in October, I need to give a hats off to Pam. She reviewed the book on Connie Hager and did an excellent job. And there were some other fine programs.
Yeah.
Next month, it will be December 15th. It'll be a virtual activity again. Like I said, it's always from 10 till 11, and Nancy sends the Zoom link. And they're going to do a behind the scenes tour of the Duval County Courthouse in San Diego. And then that courthouse just received, and Monica probably knows about this, one of the THC Historic Courthouse Preservation Grants. And then they're going to do a tour of the Bryant home in Mission, which is the former home of American politician William Jennings Bryan, which I did not know he had a home in Mission, so there's that. They're going to do a tour of the Sea Turtle Rescue Center at South Padre Island, and then a tour of the Fulton Schoolhouse Museum here in Aransas County.
Great. I got up on their website. I couldn't find any of that. And I thank you for.
Sure. And they are really marvelous programs.
In fact, I think I will just, from now on, just have you as the moderator on that particular group.
Okay.
Okay, something real exciting that's coming up is the Preservation Scholars Program. Monica, that is your baby. So you want to talk about it?
Sure, and thank you for passing that along when I sent it to you. That was very helpful. It's a wonderful program that's co-sponsored by Texas Historical Commission and Friends of the Texas Historical Commission. And what it is every summer, I'm not sure how many years it's been going on, maybe 10, I'm not positive. But they've been doing, it's an internship. It's a paid internship for 8 months for a college, either undergraduate or graduate student, people who are interested in historic preservation. And they actually work with our staff, and they actually do work at the Texas Historical Commission, projects that kind of get put back when we have time for them, type projects, but they're important projects. So they actually contribute to our staff workload. They are the most motivated people, and they're not always real young people. Sometimes there's people that have gone back to school. So it's a variety of people. They do try, they are trying to increase interest by, underrepresented ethnic groups. So they do have Blacks and Hispanics, lots of Hispanics from Texas, and they have to be enrolled in a Texas school. Right now, let's see, I wrote it down.
Well, tomorrow is
Yeah.
a program at 4 o'clock.
That's correct. It's a virtual program. It's a virtual question and answer session through by the Friends of the Texas Historical Commission. There's that one tomorrow at 4 o'clock on November 19th, another one on December 21st at 2 p.m., and one on January 28th at 5 p.m. The application period is open from December 15th through March 19th, 2021. Let's see, what else do I want to show you? Betty has that. Betty or I can forward you, if you haven't gotten it, this information we just said and about it, and where you can go online to look at more information about the program. But if you go to thcfriends.org, and then you go to programs, and under that, education, it's got a very nice synopsis of the program. And it's just I just get goosebumps when I hear them give their reports at the end of the year. There's also there's a big fundraiser in the summer that closes their time with us for the summer. And it's a fundraiser, and it's a scholarship. It's a Preservation Scholars Gala kind of a thing. And it's a nice event, different places. I went to one in Houston, and it's a nice seated dinner with wine and everything. You pay, whatever, $100 a person or something like that. And then there's an auction, and it's very nice. So they recognize all of those students. It's a fabulous program. And like I say, it's a paid internship.
8-week internship, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's great. And thank you for being a part of that and sharing that with us, because I think that's something that we can certainly try to promote here.
Yes, definitely.
I think we should go to the high school and let them know that this is available for them when they go into college. So some of the counselors, I happen to be friends with a couple of the counselors, and I'll make sure they have this information.
Thank you.
Betty, when you sent that out to us, this is Pat, I also sent that to Suzanne Ronsleben.
Yes.
Because she knows a lot of the kids that are interested in history.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good opportunity for her, but certainly encouraging the counselors would be great.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much for that. Is there anything else? Our next meeting will be December 9th. So at 5:15. And Roberta, thank you for being back on board with us. We really appreciate everything you've done in the past. Looking forward to what you're going to be doing in the future with us. Anyway, I just need a motion. You know what the next line is? Yes, ma'am.
So moved. This is Pat.
There's a second. Okay, Colin. Thank you all so much for coming. Monica, you're a big asset to us, so please be on board every time you can.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everybody have a good
Bye-bye.
Thanksgiving. Bye.
Yeah, have a good one. See y'all.
Thanksgiving.
Thank-
Okay, thank you. Colin, thanks a lot, sweetie, for setting
You're
all this
welcome.
up.
We're good. Thank you.